favor?
It's gonna be supported with the draft part two, which is now the
And
official
we
part
did that
two.
so this could move on to the zoning board of appeals,
Right. So the next
the
has,
special use permit and the definition.
correct, that would be the
Everything.
fast before you know.
Does CM&M have any questions or comments?
No.
I guess I have a question. It refers to the Rochester Business Journal article, and you were alluding to bringing stone out of St. Lawrence County and shipping it here by rail.
Yeah,
Do you know, like industrial district in Avon, you're not permitted to use raw materials?
we didn't say we were shipping it by rail at East Avon or anywhere.
What are you shipping?
We're shipping it via CSX to Scottsville Road,
What
Metallico
exactly?
Recycling.
Or what exactly are you shipping?
Certified stone, and natural building materials.
Oh, so now you're not shipping it here to Avon?
Never said I was. I said we're gonna use it in Avon, I believe, but it's being shipped via CSX to Scottsville Road to Metallico Recycling, where we have the use of up to 8 cars that they own, and they will depot it there and then, of course, transfer it to us based on their regular routine transferring of materials to our operation as it is.
So that would be trucked in.
Yeah. But we're using the rail to get it from up there down here. And if at such time we decided to move to a more permanent scenario that was more conducive with the operation of CM&M, we would do so at a location conducive to the operating of a railroad spur and or that type of permitted use.
To clarify, at this time, there is no railroad improvements proposed as part of this application, correct?
Never have been, never is.
Thanks, Tom.
The board have any?
Is there any other questions you wish to ask about that article?
I didn't, I just read it today, but my interpretation is you're going into quarries and getting stone.
Waste. Quarries generate waste, just like any other industrial operation. We're taking the waste. We're not going in and quarrying anything. This stuff has already been created by somebody else who's licensed by the EPA or DEC to operate the location in which this waste is created. That's the essence of our project, that's the essence of our mission, and that's the essence of what we're going to do with any or materials that come from the North Country or any other area and or strip mine, existing sand and gravel pits. They all generate waste, and that waste needs to be dealt with. That's something that has not been part of anyone's scheme of things in the return the environment to what was. Our project does. We're collecting waste. And quarries, as an industry, they generate waste. Is that loud enough for you too?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Any other?
So it is raw material. It still is raw material that's being transferred from one place to another, eventually to here. Be it considered waste or not, it's natural material that was removed from the ground, that's sitting on the ground near the quarries. It hasn't been manufactured into something else or created.
No, actually, it's been manufactured into either some kind of a dimensional form of stone that's used for applications throughout commercial, residential, and industrial projects, and or aggregate itself, and that creates a waste.
The aggregate itself is raw material that's extracted from the mining operation.
And in the process of manufacturing aggregate, they create waste.
A pile of rocks can be waste. I understand that, but it's still raw materials. So,
Did you want to address any of those?
Well, we basically
was
did.
when you're talking already.
Right.
I didn't know if you wanted to formally.
Well, in the letter we received March 17th from the county planning board, number 3. If not done already, per town code section 130-16, the town of Avon ZBA should make a determination if the proposed use is a specially permitted use in the B1 LI combined general business light industrial district. In order to assist the town ZBA in this determination, the applicant should clarify the use of raw or recycled materials in their process.
Which you would want to take into consideration if you're going to make the
Correct, to the
referral to the
ZBA,
It's not-
because definitely needs a special use permit, but the zoning board of appeals is gonna want our recommendation. It's gonna back up a couple months. You know, this whole project and application started with scraps and recycled material, from cutting kitchen countertops, concrete debris and everything. And now, just in the last week or two, now we're getting waste material from stone, strip mines, whatever. So the scope has changed a little bit.
Yes.
Actually, it's changed a lot. So, and when you go to the zoning board of appeals for special use permit, they're gonna look long and hard at the definition of raw material. So that's where we're at right now.
Do you
We-
want to read that section of the code for those that are?
I've read it 100 times.
I didn't know if anybody else in the audience had read it or.
Go ahead and read it.
You go ahead. It's about
The intent,
the intent of the light industrial.
the purpose of the light industrial district is to provide areas which may accommodate certain non-nuisance industrial uses, as well as to provide local employment opportunities. This district is suitable for areas with adequate utilities, proximity to adequate transportation facilities, and proper relationship to other land uses and natural features. Industrial uses should have characteristics which are compatible with the rural character of the town and should be appropriately sited, such as in industrial parks when possible. Industrial uses may include those in manufacturing and production, utilizing previously prepared materials, but not those utilizing raw materials or any other process or activity which would result in or cause dissemination of excessive amounts of dust, smoke, gas, fumes, odors, noise, glare, vibration, or any other nuisance to adjacent buildings or land. This district specifically excludes residences due to the potential for conflicts between land uses. Should I go on to the next
No,
section?
that's basically the intent. And the way I interpret that, when that code is written, that's why they call it light industrial versus straight industrial. And that's why they prohibit raw materials, because they don't want oil coming in here to be refined. You don't want to have iron ore being shipped in to make steel. I mean, I think that's why they include the raw materials. They want to keep it a light industrial. The way this project started out and was given to us and presented to us, but this deal with getting waste out of strip mines and quarries has kind of
Well, I think when it was originally.
changed a little bit.
I think it was, when it was originally proposed to us, I think it was right at the top end of light industrial, very, right at the edge. I think it's kind of grown now. I just wanted to say something else. If you take the code and put our code aside, put our laws aside, and just look at this just from a common sense point of view, the technology's great. I love how you work with us, trying to accommodate all the concerns. But if you just look at it from a common sense point of view, I really think that, especially as it's proposed now, it definitely exceeds the reasonable capacity of this site. In a nutshell. Now, if you look at our code, it's very clear what would be light industrial. This is not light industrial. So, that's
I think, if the applicant is aware that it is a bounded property with really no opportunity to expand, not just from a land point of view, but operations and the impact on the community. That being said, whether or not a piece of stone from the Berkshires or the North Country gets polished on one side and now is an old countertop versus a chunk of stone that was just picked up and not polished, I don't think there's a huge difference there. I also think that there is cement as we know it, based with Portland cement, versus the verb of cementing something together, which I called out several months ago as, we need to be careful in how we define things. Given all the modifications to the plan to address concerns that we've had, and knowing that there are limitations to the site, I still don't, I do not think that it exceeds the light industrial definition. That's my opinion.
I just want to clarify, do you think it does or it does not?
I think it does not exceed light industrial.
That is another thing that you brought up that I have a concern with is future expansion. Where's it gonna go? Where can that expand to? And that'll be a further burden in that area. That site doesn't really provide you the future expansion you may need.
Well, you can't assume expansion.
True, you can't, but just looking at that, it is a box, you're kind of boxed in right there.
Well, as far as the building, I mean, you still got the east end, right?
How much land is there?
I don't mean outside, I mean in the current building.
Inside the building.
Because they're not using
Quite
it.
a lot there.
I love the idea that all of that is inside the building. I think that's great. Like I said,
No, but I'm saying for expansion, you have plenty of, you have a lot of unused room in the building.
Well, and then we got
yeah, that's,
grocery stores, yes.
that helps.
So I have a confused thought about raw materials because I'm kind of with James on this one. If it's a piece of stone that's been shined on one side and it isn't on the other, I have a hard time delineating the difference, okay? Or delineating the difference of a piece of gravel that got cast aside because it's waste rather than being primary. I don't see the difference. So it comes down to really, is it the right place to do something like this more than what, I mean, obviously we're dealing with issues of town code that has to deal with raw materials. I could go either way on it. I don't have a real hard thought in both directions. I like the process. I like what you're trying to do.
I do too.
I think it's a great idea. I'd almost, if I was to say you should do it in a place where there's a quarry right now, to me that would be a whole lot more sense than where, out in the middle of a community like this. That's the only thing that would be my only quandary. But I like what you're proposing in terms of the process, the jobs, the recycling materials. I think it sounds great.
I know.
Because where we're at now is we need to, it's gonna be referred to the zoning board of appeals for a special use permit. And they're gonna look at this long and hard, and they're gonna want, we don't have to make a recommendation, we go positive, negative, or we do a recommendation. And that's what, the applicant, certainly, when he moved everything inside and no discharge of water, he basically has change and try to adapt to meet the town's needs.
Could Dave read the two-sentence paragraph that includes the word raw materials one more time? When it says raw materials that will create dust. See, when he read it, I didn't get the, raw materials didn't jump out. Raw materials was just a word,
Right.
anything that might cause extra dust. Well, it could be not a raw material, create a lot of
Correct.
extra dust.
Exactly.
I'm not hung up on raw material.
You're right,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
And
just a thought or comment, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm sitting here listening to the struggle you're having with the raw material issue and that, and I guess I'm just wondering, and I don't have the answers, maybe you guys do because you've lived here, is what did Metal Aid do, like when they brought in, it seems to me that they're, but they use powder coating and chemicals and that's all I'm saying, right? They,
Galvanizing.
right, galvanizing and like I said,
Well,
there was chemicals there and
That's
they-
what we're kind of, in our code is it define the definition of
So
raw
I look
material.
at that use intensity versus the.
Interpretation, I guess you can go on to the state code
Yeah,
and do a search and find different, that's right, exactly.
yeah, so that's, let me just say that I would look at it that way of,
Yeah, just so I,
Okay. Industrial uses may include those in manufacturing and production utilizing previously prepared materials, but not those utilizing raw materials or any other process or activity which would result in or cause dissemination of excessive amounts of dust, smoke, gas, fumes, odors, noise, glare, vibration, or any other nuisance to adjacent buildings or lands. This district specifically excludes, okay, that's not important.
gotcha, so to me, it's not whether it's raw material, it's
It's
whether it
just
causes
noise,
excessive
glare.
noise,
Good
glare, and
point.
dust.
Exactly
I don't give a
opposite.
damn if it's raw or not raw, the poignant part of that phrase was, that would cause, that's me, so.
Yeah, but,
I'm not hung
no,
up on
it says,
raw.
but not those utilizing raw material or any other process or activity which would result
any
in
other,
or
yeah.
cause,
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, any piece of stone is a raw material, if you wanna go that far. Whether it's polished or not,
A two by
It's still-
four is raw material.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, I think the intent of the code there is simply to limit heavy industry. How
Right.
much more heavy industry can you get than rock?
That's my read on
Well,
intent.
is it to eliminate heavy industry, or is it to, reduce dust, smoke, gas, fumes,
That's what it is.
odors,
I don't care
noise,
if
glare?
it's one garage or
That may
12,000
come down to
square
his,
feet.
that may come
It's
down
the
to
dust,
his
it's
ZBA
like
interpretation.
Well, yes,
It's long.
I think it would.
Right, well, I think that's why
So
the
kind of
county
screwed heavy
planning board
use.
was requesting
Lumber.
So we
that
look
the
at that.
applicant needs to clarify that, or the zoning board of appeals, which they still have time to do. That doesn't help you with your referral this evening.
No, we're not gonna,
This
this is
is
not a
us
hearing,
making
just
that.
so, I just wanna make the public quite clear. You will have a chance to speak at the Board of Appeals hearing and also our final hearing, so you'll have plenty of time to comment.
Yeah, your interpretation is on.
Judy,
I won't
please.
say any more than that.
so, where we're at right now, it goes to the zoning board of appeals for a special use permit. Does this board wanna make any type of a recommendation at this time?
I would prefer without recommendation.
I don't want
James?
to agree.
I wouldn't presume to, there's enough doubt that I'm not gonna say we should do a positive, I would say, be neutral.
I can't make a positive or negative.
Okay, so we refer it for a special use permit, and let them make the decision, knowing they usually like our direction one way or another, okay? So does someone wanna make a motion? Basically, we need a motion to refer this to the zoning board of appeals, and we've done the SEQR. Now it goes into their court for the special use permit.
I'll make that.
You'll make that.
Yeah, well, she's already written it down.
Why don't you read
I was
it?
waiting for a second.
Why don't you read that, Jennifer, so
I basically was just saying
it's referred for a special use
that the
permit?
board members have made a motion to refer the applicant to the zoning board of appeals for a special use permit under section